everybody, welcome to episode 139 of Formidable Opponents, a show that pits three people who have known each other virtually their entire lives in a series of conversations as we argue what is the best in a variety of fun, engaging, and critical pop culture topics we all debate about. I'm Randall, and with me as always, Bob and Joseph, and this week's topic is worst song from a great band. Bob, Joseph, we're getting right into it. Today we're doing something mature, attacking greatness, shitting on people far more talented than us, something we never do. What's up, guys?
We're only saying that because now we have a bunch of white hair in our pubes.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now we got a real fucking show going on. It's not even a welcome back. This is an extra show.
Thanks for checking out our welcome back episode, by the way.
Yes.
We
got a lot of great feedback, a lot of thumbs up, a lot of medium thumbs. If you don't know that, you need to watch what's the name of that one? Schmedium Gladiator with Joaquin Phoenix gives you the medium thumb before he goes down. Him and his hair lip. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're talking worst song from a great band. It's not worst song by a band. It's worst song from a great band. Like finding
from a favorite band.
I thought it was worst song from a band we love.
Well, yeah. I mean, either way, right?
Well, they're all great bands. Right?
They're all great bands, right?
If we love them, they're great.
They're great. Yes.
Fuck
yes.
y'all.
Worst song by a great band, right? That's like finding a hair in a 5-star meal. Like, hopefully not a great pube, Joseph, but I mean, let's talk a little bit about the stakes. Let's set some stakes here. We're not canceling these bands, right?
Do you say steak? I got me all excited.
You know, we're auditing these questionable decisions, right? So let's level set on these songs. Here are some rules. And Bob, Joseph, feel free to add some rules if you care to. So the band must be canonically great, like, legacy.
Spell
influence.
canonically, puto.
The song must be officially released. An album track, single, bonus track counts. No live bootlegs, by the way. Worst can mean different things. It could mean artistically worse, which means the writing was lazy. It was an awkward experiment. The lyrics were cringy. Culturally worse, that means it could be overplayed, misrepresents the band, or it could be contextually worse, which means kills album flow. It's a dated production. What are some of the things that fall under a song that you have to skip or a bad song by a great band?
I think you left out the best worst, brat worst. I mean, I think everybody would agree with me. No, what was the question? I'm sorry, I've been drinking.
I don't know why you put all these rules into this shit. I wasn't playing. I don't play by the rules. No, I think I'm kind of gonna give it away.
Give it away
part.
Now?
I'm gonna give away a bit of my argument. But I if it interrupts the flow of the album, I think that's a big strike against it. Whatever you want to call it.
If it's a song that doesn't sound like the band's sound, if that makes any sense. Pink Floyd has a sound, Alice in Chains has a sound, Nirvana has a certain sound, like 311 has a certain sound. Yeah. If they come up with a song that's just not their sound, that doesn't sound like them, every band has, more than words. Every band has a ballad. Every band has a song that they change, but it still sounds like that band. If they have a song that's completely out of left field, that's a curveball, that's like, who the fuck is this? It could be easily confused with like some other poppy or different band. I think that's where like it falls short for me. And that's the one I'd be like, whoa, that's probably the worst song from a great band.
Exploring a little bit with their sounds or trying something new. I'm not in any way against that at all. Like if a lot of my favorite bands have done that in their careers. I think this is just more of, if it just, like I said, if it just sounds really way out of left field, like Bob, Zoom.
Whoa, I'm not doing that. I don't know why the fuck I did that. Sorry. That was weird.
Bob did. I was just drunk. Zoom.
Yeah, like, the camera kind of did the.
And but yeah, no, I mean, like again, I'm not against some of my favorite bands exploring a new sound or trying new things. I mean, look at all the heat Metallica took for producing Load and Reload. I love those albums. I think those are great albums. A lot of people, there's fans of theirs that don't, but like it is what it is.
There's one song off of one of those albums, Joseph, we're going to argue about in a bit.
Okay.
So let's make things clear to everybody, right? We love these bands. I mean, nobody picks Striper or
obviously, right?
I love Striper. What the fuck? You don't like the Stripes?
We are not here to be contrarian edgelords. We want to just say these are bands that we love. They had a misstep. Someone will be mad. But
in our opinion,
I wrote a few rules on the sniff test on what
defines a bad song from a great band. So skip rate, right? Be honest. How fast do you reach for the skip button when the song comes on? The car test. Does it survive playing in a car with other humans? The movie trailer test. Would this song ever make you more excited to see a movie or the movie that is playing over? And then lastly, band Wikipedia hallway. If a stranger has only heard this song, would they understand the band at all? Are there any other tests?
That's a great. You made a great point. I love the last one that you chose. I don't know about the CD skip test because nobody really uses CDs anymore. But I mean that's besides the point. But yeah, that last one, I love that. Like if you were to hear the song, of a stranger were to hear the song who've never heard the band, they'd be like, "Is this a litmus test? Is this what Metallica is all about, or Pink Floyd, or Led Zeppelin, or you know Red Hot Chili Peppers? Is this what their band's all about based on this song?" I think that's a great litmus test, Randy. I think you brought up a good point.
Excellent. Are there any other tests that I'm missing?
Don't say excellent because I agree with you, Puto.
You know, if you don't love a band, you don't get to be disappointed by them. That's the rules, right? But still, a bad song by a great band feels like a loved one forgetting your birthday. You know, I mean, do you feel bad when you skip these songs? I kind of do. Kind of in the same way when you drive home, guys, and you pick up McDonald's, but you don't want to pick it up for the family. You just want to enjoy like a McRib by yourself, and then you eat it.
What do they know about McRibs? They don't like those things. This is just for us.
And then you throw away the trash at a gas station trash can, and you wash your hands so they don't know that you ate McDonald's.
This sounds awfully personal.
So that's kind of what the betrayal is with these songs. You're betraying your family with French fries. Let's go straight to the opening question.
And barbecue sauce.
What actually defines a bad song from a good band? What is your definition of that?
I mean, you can go online and look up the streams, talk about that later. Nowadays, you can go up online and look at polls on music publications and things like that are going to tell you like fan votes and things like that. But I think personally, for the individual listening, if you're agreeing like what we're saying, then for me, the skip rate, there's like, how many times is that?
If it's a skip test, if you want to skip the song, even though it's a great band, you hear a song, you're like, let's see what else they got. I think that's the ultimate.
I think also if it like hurts you, like if it's one of your favorite bands and you kind of like in your own personal way, you feel bad about skipping it because it's like, fuck, I love this band, but I can't hear this song. You know, I think that also comes into play too.
I think a bad song from a great band is one where you know that they knew better, right? It's not incompetence, it's a lapse in judgment. It's the musical equivalent of a smart person sending a risky text and immediately putting their phone face down. You don't hear it and think they can't do this. So you think, why did they do this? Because we all love bands that have experimented. Like Metallica doesn't sound the same. Pink Floyd didn't sound the same their whole career. Kiss, all these great bands. Public Enemy.
But they've always sounded like Pink Floyd or like Public. They've experimented, but they've always sounded like the same. That you could talk about the Beatles. The Beatles have experimented probably more than any popular top 10, top 5, top number 1 rock band of all time than any other band out there, but they've always sounded like the Beatles. Mm-hmm. And that, I think that's kind of like the cutoff there where like you try something completely new and you're like, you don't even sound like the fucking Beatles. You sound like, fucking Judas Priest. You know what I mean? So I think that kind of is the separator there, if that makes any sense.
I mean, do great bands get graded on a harsher curve? Are we being more difficult on these bands because we expect greatness from every song?
Yes.
I think absolutely as well. I think that's the tax you pay for greatness, right? Nobody grades Pixar movies the same way they grade direct to streaming animated films, right? If you're elite, you don't get a participation trophy. You get exceptions. The better the band, the less room they have to miss. That's not unfair. That's how the respect works. If you're great like the Beatles, if you're great like Wu-Tang Clan or whatever, the expectation is that everything you put out has to be up to snuff, right? What do you think, Joseph?
For the most part, I mean, it for us personally, I think we all believe that our selections, the bands that we selected from, had pretty much continued success, album after album. Maybe you didn't particularly like or it was your least favorite song off of a previous album or something like that, but at least you still listen to it. So I think with us in this topic, we all agree that our selections or our songs or their artists kind of knew we're doing something a little different, or maybe like,
Maybe
I don't know
they're
about
high.
you. Rands, I think, is a little crazy, so we're gonna get into that later. But I think Bob said this. It's almost expected. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. I know that might sound harsh, but when you come to expect such great things from one of your favorite artists, because they are your favorite artists, because they've constantly and consistently made you appreciate and love their music and their songs, and then something like comes out of nowhere, you're thrown off. That's what we're getting here.
It's kind of like if we have a really bad episode, right? We expect to be called on it. It's never happened.
like every
right?
other
Every week.
Every week. They're like, the expectation is that you guys will always have a shitty episode.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll surprise us one week. Maybe this is the week. When a band experiments and it doesn't land, is that failure or is that bravery?
I think it's a mix of both, man. I mean, like, it depends on whose perspective you're looking at. If you're looking at the bandmates and they want to experiment and try something new and something that they felt or something that they like really like wanted to try, I think that's a success, no matter how shitty or how crazy or how popular the song is. I mean, according to the band, like, I would like to do whatever the fuck kind of music I want to do, whether it makes me millions of dollars, especially the guys that have already made it, that are millionaires, that are like super popular on top of the world. If they want to create this crazy, obscure, out there song, like, why the fuck not? If it's something in their bones that they really feel that they've always wanted to do, why not, man? They're not hurting anyone. It's something that they want to do. So I'm sure in their minds, it's part of their creative, whatever they wanted to release that based on their creative mind or whatever. But if fans don't like it, well, I mean that's okay too, dude. But yeah, it all depends on perspective. Who's looking at the song or the music?
For me, I'd say bravery. I mean, it's
only because Joseph likes the bravery of the band.
I don't like them, but they got a few good songs. But anyway, no.
Then To Believe
I
is
mean,
great.
That's a good song. Honest Mistakes, another one. But
Yes.
Seeing how he knows all the songs, I don't like them though.
no, I think it's brave, man. Hey, like I said in the beginning, we're not knocking these. I in no way, or anybody. I'm not a fucking artist. I'm not a musician. I'm not doing it. I'm not knocking, my favorite musicians and bands for trying something new. They felt a certain way when they were writing an album or writing a song. Something personal maybe was affecting them in their life to do something different. And all these musicians and all these artists that we're going to talk about, or that we selected, or just in general, do that. Everybody does that. They feel a certain way at the time when they're writing an album, and it affects what they do. Taking a chance on something different because you're feeling a particular way or a different way than you normally do, then hey, more power to you. If it doesn't succeed in this case, or like in our opinion, then oh well. I mean, it's not like they didn't come back or have other great songs on another album, or in general, like on the rest of that album or whatnot. So I guess the only way it kind of would maybe be affected is if it just kills their career. But I don't think anybody. I can't think of a situation like that off
Besides
the top of my
Billy
head
Squire
right now.
dancing.
That just killed. That song wasn't that bad. The video was just the one that killed him, man.
Video killed the radio star.
Good memory there with that one. Yeah, I mean, but other than that, like, I mean, I'd have to really look at something like that where somebody took a swing and a miss. Maybe I was gonna say maybe Garth Brooks, but no, he came back and did what he.
You leave Garth Brooks alone. He's a saint. And he's a serial killer. You want him coming after you? Garth Brooks, a serial killer. If you haven't looked that up on YouTube, it's pretty interesting, pretty funny. You haven't looked that up, Rand? Have you seen that?
I have not.
It's kind of stupid. Kind of
rumblings
popped
of
up
it.
on a thing. Yeah.
How it sort of kind of like oddly makes kind of sense. But
It's kind of fucked up. You're like, no, not that guy. He's probably backstage eating pie, drinking beer. What the fuck? Why would he be killing people? But you never know.
I mean, killers like pie, right? So I think if
It's my pie.
if it's failure or bravery, it depends, right? If it fails quietly, I think it's bravery. If it fails loudly and confidently, that's failure to the, with merchandise attached to it, right? Experimenting is brave. And Bob, you talked about it before. Refusing to admit that it didn't work is where things can get dicey. Excuse me. There's a difference between we tried something new and we doubled down. But we got to think about how a lot of these record companies pressure these artists, like A&R guys or whatever. Like, we need another hit. We need you to sound the way your last album sounded.
Yeah.
And these individuals want to mature. They want to experiment. And so when they either sign with a new record label or they get new management, they sound different. And then we're wondering what the hell happened to them. But all along, that's the sound they've always wanted to incorporate because they've matured.
I have a lot of disdain for Billy Corgan, but he did an interview where he was talking about that. Like they made their first album that was a killer. And I think he did a song like, I don't know if he was talking about 1979 or he was talking about something that was very slow. And it wasn't like Zero. It wasn't like fucking, something upbeat in spite of my age. I'm still just a rat in a cage. It was something very slow, like soft singing. And the record label told him, like, we need more of this. He goes, well, no, we're a fucking, we're an alternative hard rock band. They're like, yeah, well, we want to sell records. So you need to make more of this.
I don't know what that song was.
Hence came something like Tonight, which I fucking love.
Love that
yes.
song.
But I mean, like they get, I guess the Melancholy. What's the name of that album? Joseph Melancholy
and the Infinite Sadness.
And the Infinite Sadness.
Yeah.
With an album like that came out where there's a lot of slow shit like that because the record label
it is
told
a big
him,
shift. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the record label told him we need more of this. He's like, well, if you heard Smashing Pumpkins' album before, they're hard rock. And he's like, yeah, that's okay, but we need more of this. And that's kind of fucked up. Yeah, it's something to Google, man. Check it out.
I think it was probably Disarm because Disarm was a big hit. It was a slower song. And it was an older song.
That's what I was thinking too. Right?
Billy Corgan still had hair in the video, so it was an older song.
I can kind of see that because the next album was Ava Adore, right? And it kind of blends a little bit of both.
Last opening question. If this were the only song someone knew by the band, would that matter?
Absolutely. If you knew any other song from the band that I selected, or I think in general anybody, and you only heard this one song, kind of like in the car on the ride or whatever, and they said, "Oh, that's so and so," I'd be like, "Yeah, but that's not them. That's not them. This is something I don't know." So yeah, for me,
it was experimental.
For me,
I was high that night.
It does matter big time, and I think that matters with. Well, no, not really. I think so more for me than both of you. But in general, I'm sorry. What was it? If the question was if this were
the only song,
like if we're talking about our selection.
So like if you introduced somebody to your selection, you can only play the song that you picked.
Okay.
I mean, would that matter? Because
for me, yes. For you all, I don't think so.
I think it would. But go ahead, Bob.
I think it would matter to my pick as well, dude. I don't think that my pick like really is like if you just say like, oh, this band, and you play the song and like this does not describe the band that I'm in love with, my favorite band or one of my favorite bands. This is just an offshoot. You know what I mean?
I think, that's branding, and it does matter a lot. If the only thing someone knows about a band is their weakest representation, right? Or their weakest representative, I should say, that's how reputations get warped. I mean, that's like judging a whole TV series based on the worst episode. Like, what's that show? Breaking Bad. Remember that horrible episode with the mosquito and they're like in the lab and the whole episode is that they're trying to like kill this mosquito in the lab? That episode was horrible, but the TV show was brilliant. So if I showed somebody Breaking Bad and the first episode they watched was that mosquito in the lab episode, they're going to say, this show sucked, you're bullshitting. So I think it absolutely does matter. First impressions matter. And some songs are doing damage control they don't even know that they're doing. So yes, I agree. I think it absolutely matters. Let's go to our honorable mentions. Bob, what do you got for your honorable mentions?
Okay, I have three, dude. I have three. For anybody who says that Temple of the Dog, Hunger Strike is a great song, they're fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
They're out of the. That's a terrible fucking song. Y'all are taking the reputation of two very big and popular grunge singers and thinking like, oh my god, they got together, gotta be great. How well did it work for Mick Jagger and fucking
David Bowie?
David Bowie didn't work too fucking well, did it? So Hunger Strike is a terrible song.
Oh
I don't give a shit who. I don't see you like that. So moved me. I went and fucking I adopted a dog and I did made some. You're full of fucking
Is that
shit.
Donald Trump?
You're full of shit. You're full of shit. Okay. Led Zeppelin, which is one of my top two favorite bands of all time. Dire Maker, not a big fan of this fucking song.
I could agree with that one.
It's awkward. It's different. It doesn't really like give you that bluesy, hard rock sound that I love from Led Zeppelin. So I think that's one I'm like, I can pass. I can skip, right? I can hit the skip button.
What's crazy about that, what you say with that one, Bob, is like, yes, Led Zeppelin, like the way you described them, but I personally think like, even though Led Zeppelin is known for what they do and the type of music they make, I still think those guys are so fucking good at songwriting that each song is like completely different in its own aspect.
It is different, but I mean, like you can replace it with a Christmas version of ho 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 ho, ho. And you know what I mean. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. I don't like it. And Joseph, this is directly at you, Joseph. I don't like Metallica's Cure.
Oh,
I think it's off their Loud album.
Really?
I think it's off. I think it's awkward. I don't think that it fits the Load vibe. Load is supposed to be their blues album, and this song is kind of talky and like awkward and doesn't really. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really fit. This is my. I could skip this song. Let's get to "Hero of the Day" or "Bleeding Me" song.
Really?
What do you think about that?
I don't agree. Zoom.
The zoom. It's like that mysterious hamster. That
Is it a hamster? What is it?
No, I think it's a hedgehog or something. Anyway, no, I mean, I love the Load album. I've said this before. It's the first album I was introduced to as far as Metallica. And I know all the other dudes. No, it was the first song. It was the first album I was introduced to, which led me to the entire catalog. So it definitely holds a place in my heart. And to be honest with you, I love that whole album. So I don't know. I don't see it. I get what you're saying, but I don't see it.
So you're like, oh, Cure is just as good as Hero of the Day.
Well, it's not
just okay.
It's not
Cure
Hero
is
of
just
the
as good
Day,
as 2x4.
I don't skip songs from that album.
I do. Yeah, not every song from every album is the best, Joseph. You just fucking play. You just got a hard on for that.
Maybe 3 or 4 good songs from that first Load album. I think. Yeah.
I could even say 7 or 8, but Cure is at the bottom of the fucking barrel, and Joseph's just being like, "No, I love them too much. I won't skip it. Skip the song, bro. It's not Hero of the Day."
What about your honorable mentions, Joseph?
Speaking of, I love him so much. No, I did select a Metallica song. I selected all. Well, here's the thing. I have 3.
I have one too. Go ahead.
And two of these, I don't know if you all are going to be cool with because I don't like. I picked All Within My Hands from Saint Anger.
Yeah.
The thing is,
nobody knows that song, Joseph.
No. I selected this song, from the Saint Anger album version. They have re-released this song. Like version 2, they did it originally when they did the S&M 2 with the symphony, and they play this version live now more than anything else. And I like the new version. The original one from the album, I think it's terrible. I think it's definitely one of their worst songs. So I don't know if this counts, but if you heard both of them, maybe you'd understand. The other one I have was, and you probably aren't going to agree with this either, is Run by Cold, because it's a Snow Patrol cover, and I think Snow Patrol sucks.
Oh no, I love Snow Patrol.
I love Snow Patrol.
Snow Patrol.
You can't really choose a cover as your song.
Yeah,
okay, well then fine. The other one was African Child by Infant Sorrow.
African Child. Everybody loves African Child. Brush my teeth to it every morning.
Terrible decision. Completely ruined the band.
I have 20 kookaroos.
What about you, Ren?
Okay, I have a whole. I was hoping you guys had like 10. I have like.
No, I didn't want to completely go through all of my favorite bands and be like, oh, this song.
Okay, I'm gonna. Well, we might have to edit some of mine out. So I had Saint Anger by Metallica.
Wrong.
I don't like that song. Did anyone in the band stop to think and say, hey, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe we shouldn't do this. I thought Saint Anger was just.
I'm not angry. I just had ice cream. I feel great.
Shouldn't have been their single. There are some good songs on that album. That's probably shouldn't have been the single. Frantic is good.
I had Boys to Men, Down on Bended Knee. The single was released after I'll Make Love to You. How do you go from that filthy song to something so sweet and involve God and actual love? I don't get it.
He didn't say I'll do you doggy style. He said I'd make love to you. How's that dirty? That's sweet. That's sensual.
Yeah, like she wanted him to.
Uh-huh. Like you want me to on the floor.
He was gonna hold her tight.
Maybe all through the night. See, I don't think you're wrong, sir. I think you're wrong, sir.
I had a Jeremy from Pearl Jam. It feels like I'm at an assembly staring at a floor, like a high school assembly getting lectured. You know, I don't want to feel like I'm getting scolded. I had U2's Mysterious Ways. Okay, so it's not U2's worst song. U2's worst song is Get on Your Boots, but I feel uncomfortable in Mysterious Ways when Bono says on your knees, boy. So I'm just going to go with that. I had Spies
For the Simon Children.
I think every U2 song is their worst song. No.
I had Spies Like Us by Paul McCartney. He's buried this song, doesn't play it. You can't find it anywhere other than maybe YouTube. I had "Wake Me Up When September Ends" from Green Day.
Oh yeah, I hate that song. Good selection.
Didn't we learn from What Child Is This that songs that mention months consistently suck? I mean, I know that other songs about Jesus, but still, I just didn't like. I don't like songs with months in them. I don't know, not too many good ones, right? Obla Di Obla Da by the Beatles. It's like a mural in the dentist's office. Cute and whimsical at first, but you know eventually there'll be pain. I had Radio Song by REM. Just a horrible song, just complaining all through it. David Bowie and Mick Jagger dancing in the streets. This is what happened.
Everybody knows that song. Everybody knows. It's not just terrible. It's
I know it's a cover.
terrible.
Yeah, I know it's a cover,
It's
but
horrible. No, it's covered in fucking blood, bro. It should be erased from history.
This is what happens when cocaine has the final cut, right? I had Ebony and Ivory by Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder. I know it's
racist.
I know it's a collaboration. Right? This song solved racism the way Hallmark cards solve grief, right? I mean, these guys overestimated humanity in this song.
Was it always them who sang? I thought I remember other people singing that song.
No, it was them too.
I had how angry he said that. No, it was them two bastards.
Those two untalented. I had Van Halen. Why can't this be love? We have the sickest guitarist in the world. What should we play? Do 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 do. I mean, I'm convinced the same guy who introduced.
Why can't this be love?
I'm convinced that the same guy who introduced Eddie Van Halen to keyboards is the same guy who introduced Philip Seymour Hoffman to drugs. He just killed it, right? I had
uncalled for, sir.
I had Chuck Berry, My Ding-a-Ling. Imagine inventing rock and roll and your biggest hit is a joke, right? A playground joke. Lastly, and to me, this was almost my selection, Elton John, Candle in the Wind. I'm talking about the 1997 version for Princess Diana, not the original one for Marilyn Monroe. It was a hand-me-down dedication song. I mean, look, if your best friend dies, your first reaction shouldn't be, hand me my resume. You know, that's like proposing.
I don't know where you got best friend from. I mean, they just drink martinis together and shit, but let's slowly roll, bro.
That's like proposing to someone, breaking off the engagement, and giving the same ring to another woman. So, not a fan of Candle of the Wind 1997, but that's just me. All right, so we're gonna go on to our selections. Bob, you're up first.
Okay, look, dude, I don't have a long speech or anything like that, but I know if anybody who's been a fan of our podcast knows, I am a huge Stone Temple Pilots fan. And, you know, we even did a dedicated episode to Stone Temple Pilots and their greatest song. I'm a big fan. I love 99% of their catalog. But they have this one song, Cinnamon. Don't know if y'all have heard it, but
yes,
I am just not a fan of this song. This does not describe Stone Temple Pilots. This is not their sound, with a sound that was so poppy and so popular that would fit the mold of what the music was. And I don't know when this album came out, maybe 2006?
2010.
2010, okay, sorry. Yeah. Kind of try to fit the mold of what was going on in music at the time, but it is not Scott Weiland. It is not Stone Temple Pilots. There's no alternative blues. You know, I just don't feel like this is a STP song. If you go around, you listen to it, download it, YouTube it, guys, it doesn't sound like Stone Temple Pilots. It doesn't sound like Vaseline. It doesn't sound like kitchenware and candy bars. It's not adhesive. It's not one of their like slower, bluesier songs. It's not even their fucking Christmas album, bro. This sound is just so obscure and out there and so poppy. Like anybody else could have sang this song to try to make it popular in 2010. Instead, Scott Weiland and SCP got it and tried to make it popular. And I just don't feel like it fits the mold. So that's my pick. I just don't feel like it fit the mold. I don't feel like this is STP, and you know, that's my pick. That's my argument for it. Short and sweet. What do y'all think about it?
To be honest with you, yeah, like if we're gonna go back to that question in the beginning, like if this is the first song that you heard from STP, it definitely doesn't compare to the songs that they're more known for, their biggest hits, particularly the style of the first albums. I want to say what the album release date did probably play a hand in this. Was he sober for this album?
He was, yes.
That might have affected this a little bit.
Was he really though?
I mean, you know, I don't hate the song. I like the beginning, the intro, and I like the tone of the like if it was just on its own something else. It honestly reminds me of something like that. And this isn't a knock to the Stereophonics. I like songs from the Stereophonics, but it definitely has that vibe. It reminds me of "Have a Nice Day" from Stereophonics. I don't know if you know that song, but it definitely has that vibe. So it has a poppy vibe to it. If you knew nothing else about the Stone Temple Pilots, yeah, this would completely throw you off. And I can understand Bob saying, no. You got to hear first album. You got to hear Core. You got to hear Purple.
Yeah.
You got to hear, number 4. You got to
This is
hear
a song called Plush.
you got to hear Plush, right? You got to
Vaseline. Interstate Love
Just
song.
shut up.
Fucking-
Just shut up and listen to this. This is a song called Plush. You got to do that. Like I said, I don't particularly hate the song. I don't think it's a terrible song in general.
It's just not.
Yes, it's different. It's very different. I mean, I get it. I get why you selected it. I don't think. Well, I found it hard to look at STP songs because even when I was trying to find honorable mentions, like I said, I didn't really want to go through all of my favorite bands and just try to find the song that I hated the most. But I did kind of look at STP, but then I was just like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But yeah, no doubt. Like you compared it to Kitchenware and Candy Bar. What was the other one you compared it to? Well, we just said Plush too, but like Vaseline, like, yeah, it is nowhere near on that level, that particular vibe and feel that we're used to from Scott Weiland and the band. So I get it. I think it's a good selection for this band if you're going to pick something from Stone Temple Pilots. Like I said, I don't particularly hate the song, but I fully understand your selection and what you're thinking.
Not the worst thing that happened to Cinnamon. That's pumpkin spice. I think
you didn't even mention the cinnamon challenge where you eat a spoonful. You can't do it, bro.
I think the thing is, it's a very poppy STP song, and what's funny is that their biggest hit was a pop song, Interstate Love Song, the only number 1 hit they've ever had. It's different, I get it. Interstate Love Song was more a little bluesy, a little, soft rock, where this one is just pure pop. I mean, to me, does the first few seconds of the song sound like it should start a sitcom? It kind of like very like 90s sitcom.
Could be an intro to a movie.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
but
montage,
like a teen movie. Yeah, like it doesn't feel like it feels very like happy and like poppy, and it doesn't really fit the mold of SCP.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate this song. It does sound very poppy. It does sound like it belongs in a movie montage where Adam Sandler is with a woman that's way too attractive for him. But I think that this song, if this song was released by a band like, who's big in the late night or early 2000s, like Deep Blue Something or the Rembrandts, I don't think people would have a problem with it. I think it's just STP. So people are comparing STP's other catalog songs to this particular song. Little history. This is from their self-titled album, Stone Temple Pilots. It was released as a later promotional single, and debuted on the alternative chart at number 49. The whole album's vibe was very 1960s, 1970s influence. Scott Weiland described this album as a mix of British pop with Ian Curtis energy. I mean, it's STP cosplay. Let's call it what it is, right? If you don't like bright, poppy throwback energy, yes, you wouldn't like this. It's like STP just shipped this album to Target and no other stores, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's like a very Target friendly. It's a very pleasant chorus. It's okay to describe STP as pleasant, I think. Weiland did a lot of heroin, but I mean, he could be pleasant. I mean, he did a Christmas album, right? Look,
One of the best Christmas albums.
Yeah. Don't you fucking forget it.
A lot of late career singles reached for radio play to keep the band relevant, right? Like I said, this album is from 2010. This was long after STP's heyday. So I think their management, their A&R guys, the people producing this album says, hey, we got to get you guys back on radio. So they're older, they're wiser. The chorus is very sticky. Weiland's voice, it still sounds good. Not every STP song has to be written at 3 a.m. after a near overdose. So good on him for being clean for this album. In the 90s, everyone accused STP of stealing everyone's sound, right? So by 2010, they were like, cool, what about if we steal happiness? And honestly, respect, right? So it's not Danger, it's not Leather Pants, but it's still good. It's like STP grew up and got homeowners insurance. So if Cinnamon is their worst song, to me, that's a very successful band. I mean, it's growth. It's not peak STP, but it's better than, I think their worst song is Days of the Week. I mean, I love Days of the Week. No, that's a very tired song. STP.
Well, I'll tell you what, it might be tired, but it sounds like STP. Days of the Week sounds, Cinnamon sounds like
But
I don't know. Pop, like any fucking person could have. I don't know, dude. It's just not for me.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear whether or not you said it's not. Do you not like the song?
I do like this song. I think it's a good
No,
song.
Bob.
Bob. Cinnamon.
sorry. Yeah.
No,
I know you like it too. I know you were
I don't
into
think
it,
it sounds like STP.
Yeah.
This is
No,
a
it
skip
doesn't.
for me, dude.
It doesn't. It's a skip
for me. Like,
but
you
personally,
hear the
do
song
you
comes
like
on the radio, or you're like, nah, I'll pass.
the reason I asked is because does it sound more like of a Scott Weiland, like it's something he would have released on his dun 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 every time Bob zoom? I think we should just add in the
Why
background.
does it zoom? I don't know why it's
Dun,
zooming. I don't know.
It does, advice. Don't worry about it.
It's cool. Don't worry about it. It's entertaining to me. But Bob, doesn't this sound like something that he would have released on the with the Wildabouts with his
Yeah,
his
like
solo
it sounds like a side, but like a side group type of shit where it's
Jesus
very
Christ.
like poppy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that album itself, his solo album, is it's got that vibe. You know, one of my we discussed is one of the best songs off of that album is Circles, and it does have that poppy vibe. You know, so yeah, I can see this be more of a something that he would have released on his own years later when he was just doing his own thing because he wasn't, you know, he didn't need to do the STP thing, or he didn't want, you know. I don't hate the song, but I do understand the selection, Bob.
Not a great title. Not a great title. A good
Yeah,
song,
Cinnamon,
but
that's
not
weird.
Yeah. So we'll go on.
I guess
to,
it's not as good as Brown Sugar. I guess.
We'll go on to my selection. So controversial here. My selection for worst song by a great band is Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden.
Black hole sun, won't you come? Wash away the rain.
Listen, I love Soundgarden. They are on the Mount Rushmore of grunge, you know, legends alongside Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and Alice in Chains. I know that this band brought Chris Cornell into our lives, so God bless them. I want to start off by fighting, though. And Bob and Joseph, I'm going to bring you in early on this one. Chris Cornell's career as a lead singer of Audioslave was much more enjoyable than his career fronting Soundgarden.
No way.
Yes, sir. Okay, why not?
Oh, I think there's many more like hit fucking singles and grunge singles when he was with Soundgarden. You may not like Black Hole Sun, but I mean everything else, like Blow Up the Outside. I mean, there's a lot of great mixtures of songs that were fucking amazing because of Chris Cornell and Soundgarden is the background music. But you know, they had one decent album, and what was it? Code Cheese.
Yeah.
Who else?
Doesn't remind me of anything.
Doesn't remind fucking songs.
Like a Stone.
Stare into
Like
the
a
sun.
Stone.
Yeah.
4 good songs, but you can't compare it to the catalog of Soundgarden.
If you want my answer on that now, before you continue, I disagree with that. Don't get me wrong. I loved Audioslave. That first album was really great. I did enjoy the second one as well from them. They did start to taper off for me, but it is a completely different sound. It was a mix. It wasn't Soundgarden and it wasn't Rage Against the Machine. It was, I don't want to call it a combination of both of them, but it definitely was something different. But no, I don't agree with that statement. But please continue.
Let me defend a little bit. Look,
Okay,
I'm thinking Chris Cornell and Audioslave, fewer screams, more command of his voice, more melody, less strain. He stopped forcing his sound and he owned it. Soundgarden lyrics often feel surreal, abstract, impressionistic. Audioslave, Cornell's direct, reflective, almost conversational, and he seemed happier in Audioslave. I guess you guys don't care about his happiness. And some of these songs, Show Me How to Live, I Am the Highway, Gasoline, Coat Cheese, Doesn't Remind Me, Be Yourself, What You Are, Shadow on the Sun. I mean, they had some great hits. I mean, Audioslave.
He did, but then he went and bitched and complained that he deserved more money because he wrote such great hits instead of being a collaborator. And complained and sued his band and wanted to make more money because he wrote such great hits rather than collaborating with the entire band.
So back to Black Hole Sun. It was written by Chris Cornell in about 15 minutes. It was released in 1994, fantastic year, by the way, on Super Unknown, and became Soundgarden's biggest hit. It became a #1 rock radio song. And I'm sticking my neck out in picking a band signature song for my selection. I get that, but you got to be brave with these choices, right? You have to talk about the video for a bit. It was directed by Howard Greenlaw, I believe that's the way you say it. Greenhow, I'm sorry, that's the way you say his name. heavy use of CGI morphine. It was cutting edge at the time. Now an 11-year-old can do these effects on an app, right? There's a guy in a video that looks like Owen Hart. I can forgive a Mopey song. Look, I grew up in the 90s, but Mopey songs usually were angry at love or at society or at the system. This song was just angry at the entire solar system, at the entire galaxy. I get Soundgarden was pivoting from heavy and hostile to psychedelic, but I've heard this song at the dentist's office. I've heard it at the grocery store. It's been domesticated. You won't hear Man in the Box at a grocery store. Grunge music should not exist when choosing
Maybe not where you shop.
with choosing which coffee creamer doesn't irritate your stomach. Okay, I have a problem with this song because it convinced the world that they were softer than they actually were. And I can't accept that. I can accept anybody who can legislate that this is not a bad song, but it's a song I believe did the most damage. Soundgarden was a vibes band. Soundgarden had so many great songs off Super Unknown. I'm partial to the previous album, Bad Motor Finger, and the album after
sexual.
And the album after Super Unknown, Down on the Upside. But Super Unknown was a huge commercially successful album and had some great singles. Spoon Man, The Day I Try to Live, My Way, Fell on Black Days. I get that this is the most dangerous kind of nomination, a beloved signature song, but give me a gnarlier, weirder, heavier Soundgarden. It's the scented candle of Soundgarden songs, and I just can't stand that. You ever see someone get so high and talk about curtains for 2 hours? That's this song, and that's why I selected Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun as the worst song by a great band.
I don't know who you hang out with. Talking about curtains.
What do y'all think?
Yeah, I don't agree at all. I'm not going to try to convince you any otherwise. This is something you've said to us multiple times, even not on this show. Look, I don't agree. No, this is the song that introduced me to Soundgarden. This is the reason why I like Soundgarden. This is the reason why I learned who they were, why I bought the album, everything. And it's it's arguably their biggest hit. Yes. I'd say about 80% of people would say that. There's at least a good 20% that'll say like, no, it fell on Black Days, or I'm sorry, did I say biggest hit or best song? What I meant was best song. People, 80% of people would say this is their best song. It's the one. It's their, what's the term I'm looking for?
Signature song?
Signature, but like there's another Renaissance-y term. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. I mean, I don't think it's their best. I'll honestly admit that, because I particularly love Fell on Black Days. I love other songs from them as well, but I would consider it in my top 5. But like I said, it is the song that introduced me to them. So I completely disagree. I'm not. You're like, and maybe I don't know anybody else who thinks the way you think about this song. If there are out there, they can let us know when they hear this episode, after they hear us, when they, let us know in comments or emails if you agree with Randall, because I don't see how anybody else can say that. I
haven't figured out, Joseph. Hold on. I haven't figured out. Randall is in love, or he hates the music video, and he's attached the music video.
I don't like the song. I will not listen to it in the car.
He's attached the shitty music video to the song, and now he's like, the song is terrible, but really, it's just a shitty music video. And I think he has trouble separating the two.
No, I don't like. You're
melted marshmallows and the graham crackers.
You're right. I don't like the music video, but that is not the reason I don't like the song. You could look. There's a lot of great songs out there that had bad music videos that I don't care to watch. But if I'm in a car and I'm listening to Soundgarden, and I love Soundgarden, by the way, because that's the purpose of
this episode. Folks. He doesn't. He's lying.
I love Pretty Noose. You could list them all. I love them all. But when I'm in a car and Black Hole Sun comes on, I can't listen to it. I don't care for the song.
It's really weird. I don't get it. I really don't. I won't say it's the best, but it's definitely not the worst. I mean, and so that's a pretty, what's that, lonely hill for you to stand on there, my friend.
Bob, what do you think, Bob?
I agree. I think I already made my argument. I think that Randall's has trouble like separating the fucking music video from the song, and I know he's like, I hate the song, but really he hates the music video. If the song were to be a standalone and they never had a music video, I don't think he'd feel as strongly about it. Some people think that the song or the music video makes the song better, and in some cases it could make the song worse. And I think Randy he's kind of caught in that spider web where he's like, Oh, the song's terrible because the music video. I can agree with you, Randy. It's shit. It's shit.
I don't
It's
think the music video is terrible.
I
mean,
think
it's
I
still
think
out
this
there.
I think the song is worse than the music video. I just don't get this song. Black Hole Sun. I don't know. What's it about? Tell me what's about. School me, because a guy wrote it in 15 minutes. It's a horrible song. There is nothing to this song. You can't do anything to this song but mope. What can you do to
Like,
this
why
song?
is her mouth doing that? And then there's some pervert out there who's like, why is her mouth doing that?
I don't get it. I just feel like they're an amazing band, and this song, I don't understand why it's their most popular song, because I don't think it's anywhere near their best.
Okay, I agree.
Oh,
I mean,
all right.
okay, we can
All
agree
right.
to disagree.
right,
Joseph,
all right.
what do you got?
All right, this is probably very, very different. So I went with one of my favorite bands, obviously the Deftones. We can't post an AI cartoon image on our socials without me wearing a shirt, apparently, of the Deftones. But anyway, I chose the song "Lucky You." Okay, this is the 8th song off of their 4th album, simply titled Deftones. It's self-titled. This is the first album after their monumental album, White Pony, arguably their best of all time and most influential. Although having some great singles and some clear-cut deep tracks off of this album, particularly Battle Axe, I think Bob can agree that's a great song from the Deftones. For the most part, the entire album has does have the heavy sound, but it does sound a bit different. I'll say that. I don't know if maybe it was the weight of the previous album and the success that they had, and maybe that affected it. But anyway, clearly the band has never been afraid to experiment with their sound, right? That's what I believe separates them from, their new metal label. And they did that a bit here with this song, specifically Lucky You. It's really out of place, in my opinion, for the Deftones at the time. I think it disrupts the flow of the album. We mentioned this in the beginning of this episode. It really comes out of nowhere, I think, on this album. The first 7 songs, although different in their own way, right, stick to, a familiar sound of the Deftones, heavy traditional sound, things like that, things that they're known for and whatnot. And then we get this like dark trip hop, moody, atmospheric, electronic beat song. It uses little to no actual instruments. There's no live drumming. Abe Cunningham is not on this song as far as I know. I've looked at the credits. I don't see him on the credits. You don't hear him. The drummer. Guitars are very minimal. I don't even believe, again, that there is any guitar. You do hear, and I did look this up for reference and whatnot, you do hear Chi Cheng, the bassist at the time, rest in peace. You do hear his bass. It was recorded, but it's very minimal. The track uses mainly a drum machine, synths, electric samples, and effects. I actually think the lyrics written on their own are a good, written piece. If you go back and read the lyrics, I've always been a fan of Chino's lyrics. It's what you expect from him when he writes, love songs from a different point of view. But yeah, I mean, it's just at the time, I don't think this is what fans were probably expecting. It's one of their least streamed songs. I mentioned that in the beginning. That comes into play nowadays because we talked about skip CDs and things like that. But nowadays it streams. How many streams does it have? Is it their least streamed song, their top stream songs, things like that? We have all these services that tell you that stuff. But I think it was a swing and a miss here at the time. I say at the time because Chino has leaned into this sound a bit more with his side project Crosses. I'm actually a big fan of them. I think Crosses is a more polished sound. They did attempt this sound again, so to speak, on the next album, Saturday Night Wrist, with a song called Pink Cell Phone. And I did mention this to you.
Oh my God.
I did mention this to you all
Yeah.
because I did want y'all to have some kind of reference for this argument. Well, just this little piece at the end that I'm going to
Yes.
say, because I would take Pink Cell Phone any day of the week over
No.
Lucky You.
No.
I know I know this, that I know, Randy, you're going to talk trash about the lyrics to Pink Cell
Yes.
Phone, and that's
Yes.
it. At least I think. But it is seriously a more, if you compared the two of them, the sound of the song Pink Cell Phone flows better. And I'm only mentioning this again because they did the very next album basically kind of do a second attempt at this. And I do think it was better because Lucky You, in my opinion, failed completely. It was just kind of out of nowhere on this album. And it is one of as I've read, their least streamed songs or most skip songs if it comes out on if you're listening through the album. I don't believe I've ever seen videos of it played live or anything like that. So yeah, that's, to me, Lucky You by the Deftones is probably the worst song by a band I clearly love. So what do you guys think?
Go for it, man. Shut them down.
What I want to do is instead of talking about the Deftones, I want to continue talking about the fake deep nonsense that Black Hole Sun is, the aggressively corny melody of that horrible song. No, okay, let's talk about the Deftones a little bit. Lucky You. Let's tee up some quick facts. It's track 8 on Deftones album, self-titled album, right, Joseph?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It features Ray Osborne, excuse me, and it's co-written by DJ Crook. Noticeably electronic trip hop, which detracts from an otherwise heavy record. You know, it's got the programmed drums. It makes it sound like a 90s Sega Genesis fighting game. Very Double Dragon vibes on this one. You know, I think I would enjoy this song if I was touring like a Neon Aquarium, I think. You know, the magic of Deftones music is that it's human. It's breath, it's strain, it's intimacy, it's menacing in a total fucking cool way. And this song just doesn't push that button, right? I mean, but this is experimental. One thing I do like about the Deftones are the trademark choruses that explode into a catharsis, right? I mean, I agree. This is a murmur. It's a moaning murmur. I don't think it's a great song. I don't think it's a terrible song, but it's not a bad cool down track to cleanse the palate a little bit. So
I have to say something before you continue.
Go ahead,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This, to me, this is a song that you can definitely take that. You know that meme that you all kind of send to me all the time is like, oh wait, hey, what's that band you like? Where the singer's like always like, and it's the emoji of like the you're like the Deftones, yeah, that one I like.
Yeah,
that.
it's like the emoji of the whining face.
This is the song that you use for that fucking for that meme, because that's kind of what the lyrics and how he sounds on this particular song. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but
it's all right. It's all right. I'm glad you brought that up. I think this is the only song on the album not written by the Deftones, Joseph, if I'm not mistaken. Would this be beloved if it was released under a different name, like a side project, like you mentioned, but disliked because it's wearing the Deftones jersey? Probably, right?
Probably.
I'm not. It's not the worst Deftones song. That distinction belongs to what you mentioned before: the endless Pink Cell Phone. The lyrics in the last
fucking weird.
The last minute lyrics extremely odd. It starts off
spoken word.
It starts off like, Deftones and ends like you accidentally open up the wrong laptop, right? I mean, Deftones, you don't have to record everything that makes you emotional. The lead singer is Latino. We've been taught to bottle in our feelings as Latinos, right? See, this is why I think Lucky You kind of works for them, because it knows when to leave. Pink Cell Phone stays. It orders another drink. It starts telling you things you don't want to hear about. Lucky You doesn't punch you in the face the way Pink Cell Phone does. I don't think it's a terrible song. It's just surrounded by louder siblings. I like the Deftones, but every time Deftones songs feels like it's something very specific they refuse to explain, right? Like they're keeping a secret from us in every song. Finish the damn sentence, Chino. Chino will moan one word for 40 seconds and Deftones fans will be like, oh, that's a badass hook. But this song, I just don't think it's that bad. What do you think, Bob?
I think Pink Cell Phone is probably their worst. Like this,
I think you're only saying that because of the lyrics at the end, the spoken word.
Well, I mean, the
part
lyrics at the end, it's part of the fucking.
I'm taking the melody into account here.
It's 28 minutes long.
Like, I got you, man. I mean, like, I think of the White Pony album and all the greatness that was a part of that album, and you hear a song like, let's just say Minerva. I mean, like, it's cool, but it's like, it doesn't really have the same feel as like the Black Pony song. It's still a good song. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not the same feel. But then you take this song into account, and you're like, oh fuck, now we're straying way off the pack, and then you hear fucking Pink Cell Phone, and you're like, what the fuck are we thinking here? I think that. I do agree, Joseph. It's a weird song. It's an awkward song. It's probably not their best song of choice. I can agree with that. This one, it's kind of off the beaten path. And it's different, man. It's different. It's different. I much prefer like the Passenger and White Pony and Changed,
Yeah.
and in that album, and
There are good songs off of this album though. Like
Yeah,
it,
for
it,
sure.
it really is.
I
Just
I
comes out of
agree. I
nowhere.
agree. I agree. But they change their sound slightly, and they come. I don't want to say whiny, but they become a little more like. I don't know. I'm making a hand gesture like poppy, but it's not poppy. It's more like I don't want to say whiny,
That's
but
not
it's
the
more
hand
like
gesture he's
whiny.
doing.
Yeah, I'm not doing the Trump jerk off gesture.
But-
I'm just.
But I understand like what you and like I said, he's definitely leaned into this and the songs that from the side, like if this came out, like it's like I said, it's something that I'd expect more from his current side project, his main current side project, because he had Team Sleep, a side project called Team Sleep, and a project called Palms. But if he's not doing Deftones, he's doing Crosses, and it sounds more like if this song came out at the time and he put that under his Crosses brand, everybody would have been just like, oh, okay, cool, because it's different. Like Crosses is very much different.
Yeah.
And
It's not as
actually
popular.
think it's more it's not with Deftones fans. I think it has a more polished sound, whereas what is the term? Lucky you crawled so that everything else in Crossings could run. I see I'm surprised. I'm surprised you all think that. If you're comparing it to Pink Cell Phone, okay, I guess I can get it. But for y'all saying like, I'm surprised you all think that it's not the worst Deftones. I'm curious as to, well, I think you all just said it, right? You all think Pink Cell Phone's the worst Deftones.
The last 30 seconds of Pink Cell Phone is the filthiest thing since I'll Make Love to You. I'll just say that. I just
unclutch your pearls, Ran.
I'll Make Love to You is like a church song compared to that.
Guys, as we wrap up, we want to reiterate that these songs didn't ruin these amazing bands. They just got in the way, right? They're like the Jar Jar Binks of otherwise very good franchises. So I want to ask you, Bobby Joseph, if these are like the worst songs these bands ever made, how good were these bands actually? Let's talk a little bit about how tremendous we love these bands. I love Soundgarden. You love Deftones, Stone Temple Pilots. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh man, I mean, the Stone Temple Pilots was a big introduction, not only into grunge, because I would say they're slightly grunge, but they're more alternative, and it was like a big turning point to the alternative type of rock music of the 90s, and I think they're really they're my first big introduction into 90s rock and alternative and grunge, and they really got me into like the whole spectrum of rock and roll in the 90s. I listened to the 70s rock, listened to Pink Floyd, I listened to Zeppelin because of my dad and the influence that he had on me. But, because of you, Ran, and like other cousins and other older cousins, they like Kenny, they played STP. I heard Nirvana, I heard Metallica, I heard Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and shit like that. So STP was a really big like turning point for me, because they were more than just in a grunge band. They were alternative. They had some blues. They had some slow down shit. It was pretty cool, man. So I'm a big fan of this band. So for me to say that a song wasn't up to par, I didn't really feel like it was. That's a lot for me to say. So I think the world of that band and Scott Weiland and his genius and stuff like that. But I think this song was kind of like it's kind of out there. It wasn't up to par for me.
For me, the Deftones are great, and why I selected them, or why I use them as the catalyst for finding a song, it's because the first three albums I don't skip songs. First three albums I don't skip any songs. Well, I didn't skip a Deftones song until their fourth album, this one, this song,
And this song, yeah.
So and I still love this band. They just released another album late last year, and it's a great album. It sounds great. It sounds awesome. It sounds very much, I don't want to say the same but different. Same but different. No, but yeah. So I mean, that's that's how I feel about this. Like I said, first 3 straight albums. I didn't skip any songs, and I never do. It wasn't until this one. So it took a lot.
Listen, most bands would be honored for a worst song debate. These are fantastic bands. If this is a low point, I mean, what a tremendous batting average for these bands that we love. For Soundgarden, I'll say they were heavy without being dumb. Chris Cornell was a once-in-a-generation weapon, an absolute force. They embraced odd time signatures, and they didn't apologize. They were dark without being nihilistic. They were the perfect rock band for the perfect era. Just because I didn't like one song or didn't think I liked a signature song doesn't mean I didn't like the band. I want to ask you guys as we start wrapping up here, is a bad song from a great band still better than a good song from a forgettable one?
No. I mean, I think that's why we have one-hit wonders. You have plenty of forgettable bands, but then you have these songs that just last like, generations and shit because they're one-hit wonders. So I don't think so, man. I think good bands just put out enough music where they have songs that are like, dismiss, you can just dismiss them or they're forgettable. But, bad bands can put out a great song and then, you're stuck with it the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I will take 20 songs like Black Hole Sun over Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. I mean,
you mix a whiskey drink, you mix a lager drink.
If your song is in a Pixar cartoon, great, cool, get your royalties. But I'd rather have the career that these bands that we talked about have had than finding some song randomly on Shazam that you didn't know who sung it, you didn't know when it came out or whatever. But I don't know. Disappointment sometimes is just another form for love, I guess. So, guys, great episode. I got to propose an episode. How about next time, best song from a bad band? Should we do that?
No, I disagree. I quit.
Best song from a band that we hate.
Yeah.
I think best song from a band we hate.
Yeah, best song from a band we hate.
We have to actually go back and look at the bands that we like. Do you got a band that you hate, Rand? You already got?
Yeah, I have my selection. Yeah, I have my selection. Yes.
You're gonna say "Walking on the Sun." That's what I'm gonna say.
I think that's what you're gonna hear next from us, people. We're gonna what's the word? Optical flip. The best song from a band we fucking hate.
We're gonna have to defend that song, so that's gonna be challenging.
I'm talking to you, Radiohead. No,
I'm wearing a Radiohead T-shirt, by the way. This goes to show, great bands survive bad songs. Bad bands don't survive anything, and that's the difference. And that's our show, everyone. Listeners, we'd love to hear from you. Most importantly, let us know what you think about the show. You may reach us at formidableopponents@gmail.com. And we want to thank Creative Little Pill for all her great artwork. Please follow her on Instagram at Creative Little Pill. Please subscribe, rate, and review us on any podcast platform you're listening to us on. And join us next episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll be back with best song from a band that we hate. It's going to be a fun one. We're flipping the script. So for Bob and Joseph, this is Randall. We'll see you all next time.
What the fuck was that?